I don't know if you were here for it, but this headline rocked the crypto world. This was 2020, December 2020. SEC charges Ripple and two executives with conducting $1.3 billion unregistered securities offering. Years later, and an incredible fight by Ripple and the team over there, SEC is dropping Ripple lawsuit. CEO Brad Garlinghouse. We're going to talk about this news. I want to take a glance at the XRP charts, but it is mandatory right now to get a glimpse of the macro in terms of Bitcoin. We'll look at XRP, but also just altcoins in general. What is getting ready to happen, everybody? I genuinely think, let me just say this. I'm just very grateful to be here. I'm very grateful even through just, the rough times. You can see altcoin market cap just dipping really for months now since December. I'm so grateful to be here right now with all of you. Hit the subscribe and like. Let's talk about all of these things. It's kind of fun to look back at the headline. We've gone through so much as an industry, and to see right now SEC dropping Ripple lawsuit, I think most people knew this was coming. It's such massive news. I want to take a really quick clip from Brad Garlinghouse in a video that he just launched.
We won then on every critical legal point, proving that the digital asset XRP is not a security. That is now the law, and those wins have laid the groundwork for policymakers to adopt a set of rules for crypto that are in line with nearly a century of securities law.
The pendulum is swinging at such a speed now, and I want to apply this XRP news, this Ripple news, to altcoin markets, and we're going to look at these charts. And we're also it's not just altcoins, it's Bitcoin as well. I want to talk about this dip then rip theory put out by Bitwise. We're going to look at the Bitcoin chart. It's exciting, but think of Ripple in this case. Think of Coinbase. Think of these big companies and the war that they just went through with the SEC. And for an industry as a whole, just think about the fact that the crypto industry has won, and we are right now at the starting line. Right now, this is just beginning. And this is exemplified on the XRP chart, which I'm about to show you, the power of this and why this is so bullish. The next crypto bull move will be record breaking. The pendulum is swinging with great momentum as the list grows. And here's the list. Look, this is growing. SEC has now dropped case against Ripple, dropped case against Consensus pretty recently. Gemini, Coinbase, Robinhood, Binance, OpenSea, Uniswap. Do you see what is happening right now? And so let's first take a glance at kind of Bitcoin and this dip then rip, because I think Bitcoin, as we're talking macro and even we're talking altcoin bull market, Bitcoin is very important, right? And the continued upward trend of Bitcoin, very important in that regard. So I want to just point out some things in terms of Bitwise data and content, I should say. Bitwise CIO says Bitcoin should be at 200,000 today and says, I think the number of companies buying Bitcoin is going to triple this year. I think game theory is on. And then I saw this, okay? He's basically reposting this video and he says, the market has ignored so much good news over the past 4 weeks. If the Fed blinks at all, and this is talking about the Fed meeting today, we'll probably do a video later this evening, kind of just tracking what markets do, what happens at the Fed meeting. But if the Fed blinks at all, we're going to rip higher. No matter even what happens with the Fed meeting today, it's looking like we're going to rip higher. And now it is that question, the dip and rip theory. What is that? And it comes out of Bitwise. Bitwise posted this yesterday. We're going to look at the Bitcoin chart. There's this strange phenomenon with Bitcoin we call dip then rip. Think about this, or just look at this. Historically, when equity markets fall 2% plus in a day, Bitcoin tanks worse than stocks those days, but then rebounds a shocking 190% in the ensuing year. Why? Short-term economic headwinds like tariffs make people increase the discount factor they apply to Bitcoin. They write up its riskiness. Long-term economic unpredictability plays into Bitcoin's hands, which makes people adjust its long-term price target up. And we've seen this continually happen over the years. You remember when Bitcoin's at like $3,000, $4,000, it's kind of like, man, $20,000 is his big target. And then when it's cruising up past 10,000, it's like, man, $100,000 is this really bullish target. And you notice recently, as Bitcoin's already broken 100,000, it still feels like the starting line. The price target for Bitcoin keeps going up. And now you see targets 300, 700,000, $1 million Bitcoin targets. The result, dip, then rip. And this has been a continued story. Historically, and this is going to play into altcoin charts, which we're about to look as well. Historically, years 2 and 3 post-ETF launch are massive. Bitwise CIO Matt explains why the biggest wave of adoption and higher prices is still ahead. And I want to point to your attention, Bitwise, not just bullish on Bitcoin. They're posting about Bitcoin here, but Bitwise in the altcoin ETF game as well, everybody. So when we're looking at this stat, years 2 and 3 post-ETF launch are massive. Guess what? Altcoins are just now in the approval process for ETFs. Do you understand how early we are in terms of altcoins? This is why I get called a permabull a lot, is because I have this macro vision for these charts. There are dips all over the place on this chart, all over, whether we're in a bear market, whether we're even in an uptrend, whether we're in a bull market. There's just dips everywhere, and we're in one right now. It is what it is. So here's Bitcoin charts. Dip, then rip. The bull market for Bitcoin, in my view, is not here. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to edit that. The bear market for Bitcoin, in my view, is not here. And actually, the bull market's not even here yet. So we're just retracing to the macro trend line, this neckline that we've been tracking. And so when we're looking at this dip, then rip kind of data, guess what? We're in it right now. We're in the dip phase. Do you understand how undervalued Bitcoin is right now on a global scale with what is happening? Governments, institutions, absolutely just flocking to Bitcoin. So the dip, the high fear, the oversold environment which Bitcoin is falling into. Look at this. Look at the oversold oscillator down here, the RSI. Look at this daily chart, how low Bitcoin has gone. This is incredibly bullish for what happens next. Let's look at XRP based on this news that just dropped, and I want to kind of exemplify something on this chart. That is to say, look how XRP managed to just operate. And by the way, here's SEC going after XRP, Ripple 2020. Look how it operated even when it was in that war with the SEC. It had a little bit of a bull market. Unfortunately, it was not able to break the previous bull market highs. We talk about that often, but it actually had a little bull market. And even the bear market when it went into was very commonplace to all of crypto. And it's not like XRP didn't fail, right? It just weathered the storm for years. And look at it now. Now the case is dropped. And just think about this. This is the actual starting line for XRP. And then you sprinkle in basically all the ETF data, because XRP getting ETFs. Years 2 and 3 post-ETF launch are massive. XRP at the starting line of ETFs and this massive adoption. Do you understand the upside here for crypto in general? Do you understand the upside? Can you visualize the upside for something like XRP? And as I'm even talking, right, we want bullish move. We want continued bull market. Let's do it now. I'm just talking and I'm just like, what if it's just drawn out on this weekly chart? Ripple or XRP even coming back down to test the 50, the 200 has to kind of meet kind of somewhere, and it's just retracing. Crypto's retracing. This is my vision, everybody. This is what I'm seeing on the macro. This is what I'm thinking. It's not, of course, we'll enjoy gains if they come sooner than later, but I'm just always game for higher highs, higher lows, continued uptrend, kind of grueling dips. It is what it is. That's crypto. You go to total crypto market cap, altcoins in general, and I'm thinking especially of the blue chips. I'm thinking of altcoins like obviously XRP. I'm thinking altcoins like ADA getting just in the line now for its first spot ETF. Guess what? Starting line for all of altcoins. And what's so great about this, as I'm doing this video, is, we've been doing so much technical analysis on these markets. We've been trying to integrate macroeconomic factors, monetary cycle factors, all of these things, bringing it together, trying to really anticipate the volatility of crypto. And I think we've done a good job, even just from a technical perspective of Bitcoin. The inverse head and shoulders, right? When we're all up in this area, just anticipating the throwback. This is nice. But now altcoins, the thing that is so great about this chart is the bull market has not happened yet. We're talking about all of these things in this video that are very bullish. I'm not even mentioning so many things because there's just too much. There's too much to mention in a video if it's going to be like 10 minutes. I'm not even mentioning just what is happening from the US standpoint and what this current administration is doing. We have an SEC that is like pro-crypto now. This is just starting. And the altcoin bull market has not even happened. And the daily chart, I mean, obviously you can visualize it very nicely how it's not happened, but you start going to like the weekly chart and you really start seeing it. Just look at the consolidation on this weekly chart. Look at the distribution of these charts. Here's the bear market kind of bottoming out area. There's that first little higher low. And look at the RSI just chilling before making that first move up. This was not a bull market, okay? And now RSI, momentum oscillator, in a very similar area as it was in this move, and now in this current move. The bull market has not happened yet. And if you want a really good visualization of it, here is that just crazy parabolic overbought environment altcoins get in. If you go to the monthly chart, and I think I did this in a recent video, that's what it looks like. It has not happened yet. And why is that bullish? Because right now we are at the starting line of all of these things happening with a pro-crypto president and administration and just so much, tens of trillions of dollars getting ready to enter crypto. I'm not saying tomorrow or next month or even this year, but I'm just saying this is where the industry is headed. This chart, this altcoin chart, people are bearish on it because we're in a current dip and we have some red monthly candles. But the trend of this chart is higher highs and higher lows, and the altcoin market is getting ready to explode along with Bitcoin. So huge news coming out of Ripple today with SEC case, but just what it means for the entire space and where we are in terms of the crypto era and the golden era we're about to enter, I think is very, very bullish. And this is just my opinion. This is how I'm seeing these markets. I'm here for it, trying to remain patient, just like many of you. And those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and turn notifications on as we continue just to crank out Bitcoin content, altcoin content, Bitcoin, crypto news, all that good stuff. So I'll see you in the next video. God bless.